And just making sure we're on every video feed, guys. Just making sure. What's up, guys? I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report. It's 9:02 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. It's Friday, April 16th, 2021, the year of our Lord Jesus Christ. Because BC is before Christ, AD is Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. And today is our last day of Extol, maybe? And so I have to inundate you with more Extol music. This song that I want to play is the work of art. And I have a video, is pretty much basically a quiet video to play over it, to prove to you guys, if you're watching the video feed, you can watch on YouTube, D Live, Facebook, The Hake Report on all channels, basically, Periscope, Trovo, Twitch, even, to prove to you guys that it is indeed Christian music. So, without further ado, as long as we're ready, let's play Extol, Work of Art. It's about creation, God's creation. Cool. Check it out. And I have the video to accompany it. Do you see that in the music folder? It will be clip 11. 11. Nice. It's another long one, but it's an epic song. So, what do you call it? So majestic. Majestic is the word that comes to mind when I listen to Extol. No, Jonas Tripp. That is not next. So, enjoy. So nice. And I'll play the video with the lyrics. This is the Extol thing. Let me know if volume is good. 1 for great, 2 for too loud, 3 for too quiet. Yes, Nickelback is too spicy for Hake. Nickelback, that pop hard rock band that you play the songs over each other and they sound the same. But I like them anyway. This is what the Extol guys look like, or looked like 23 years ago. Don't they look like metal players? No, it's not devil music, Family 53511. It is 4 to turn it off. 3 for too quiet, 1 for perfect loudness. 4 for headbang. Opening up the lyrics to prove to you it is indeed Christian. So majestic. This is Jesus' favorite band, says Jim Eagle. Quite Jesus. So he's looking at the sky, at the mountains, the snow-capped mountains, the clouds, and the shadows of the earth. The rain falls. Beautiful. I'm telling you guys, it's great. Satan is definitely there, Daddy. Hake, you're fired. Turn it up to 11. JLP throwing holy water all over the studio. Yeah, he has to sanitize after the Hake Report. Is this camera live? No, I pre-recorded it yesterday afternoon. This looks and sounds, the look and sounds says angry, says Jeff Casey. Yeah, I think you may be right. You may be right. So yeah, I'm showing you the lyrics. It's talking about nature that God created. Just so awesome. Crank the bass, Hake. So guys, I will be taking your calls. 888-775-3773. Some of you are already on hold, want to talk about blah, 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 blah. 13-year-old man from Chicago. These guys are trying. Yes, this is Christian, I am sure. Play it backwards. Play it backwards. Are you sure this is Christian? And then you hear the devil talking. It says Noah's Ark, Kansas. Nice guitar riff. Thank you, Penny Roo. This is anything but the silent prayer. Yeah, very true. These guys do need, or did need, the silent prayer. Maybe they found it. Sounds angry, says Louis. Louis, what's up? Good to see you. Not exactly a beautiful hymn. I think it's sort of hymn-ish. I will be checking the Streamlabs, guys. Thank you for the support. See, they're singing. Beautiful. Hake, listen to Extol. They're an amazing Christian death metal band. That's what we're listening to. Skip says, hey, if you think this is Christian, then I don't know what to think. Sounds like Cannibal Corpse. Not familiar, Stephen Will, but thank you. Singer likes Taco Bell. You guys are terrible. And I do have your favorite caller, the listener's favorite caller, on the line. This album is older than the listener's favorite caller. Zach in Columbus. I bought this album when I was about Zach's age. I was never Zach's age, but when I was 16, 17. This song rocks. Thank you. If you don't like Extol, then you are a beta. Yeah, I agree. I have to pull up my... Great song. Thank you, Chris, making it happen. White Chris. He could play Extol under the table, I hear. A talented young man himself. And so, guys, I'm going to be talking about frankspeech.com and the ridiculous attack on Kyle, John Wick, Jack Bauer, Rittenhouse being compared to this 13-year-old young thug. And I will be taking your calls as well. But let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Violet says, love Hake, this quote-unquote music, not so much. I understand. That's the kind of feedback that I got from my family members and in-laws. Beta Leg says, Hake is a Satan lover? What the? No. Well, hopefully not anymore. Repenting, on my way. Based AF with a super chat, Based America First and Streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Generous support. Says with a super chat, thanks for sharing your awesome music selections and Chris's deep, or he says, Chris, deep musical genre knowledge. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Based AF, Based America First. And Hot Computer Smell says, the vocals, referring to the vocals you just heard, sound like an upset stomach. Sound like upset stomach. Fair enough. Thank you, Hot Computer Smell. As always, faithful friend and fan. Cool. So, before I get to callers, we're going to be talking about some heavy stuff. A 13-year-old young man playing man. When you're carrying a gun like a young man, you're playing man, and you may get cut down like a man. A bad man. A bad hombre. And that was a bad hombre who got himself done in. What a shame. Or he was on his way to growing up to be a bad hombre. I'm talking about that Chicago 13-year-old who got himself killed. He got himself killed, really. It's obvious. But I have clip 14 I want to play real fast. Something light and kind of fun. Speaking of work of art. And I'm not talking about art from Ohio, but I'm sure he's quite the artist too. I'm talking about the work of God, the Lord. There is an animal called a bobcat. And you guys may have seen this. It was trending on Twitter. I got this from Sada, a person who calls himself or herself Sada on Twitter, saying this was a wild 45 seconds. 14A I would like to play. And for those of you listening on the audio podcast, this is a bobcat attack in a neighborhood. This father saves the mother, basically. Listen and enjoy. I did bleep out the cuss word, the one cuss word that I heard, because we have frank speech, and frank speech does not include cussing on air. We set a good example in the right contexts. Am I right? So listen to this and enjoy.
Good morning.
Cute. Walking out to his van, setting his coffee down on the
I need
hood.
to wash my car.
Needs to wash his car. Unlocking the door. See his wife in the lower corner? Did you hear that? Screaming. He grabs the animal and throws it across the lawn.
Watch out! Oh, shit,
Wow.
that fucker! Get out! Watch out! Watch out! It's a bobcat! Attack my wife!
Bobcat attacked my wife.
Good morning.
I purposely left the good morning. Let me play that one more time because I kept on interrupting it at some key funny parts. Because you're going to listen closely and you'll hear the thump. So let's play part A one more time and I'll play part B and C, which are shorter versions.
Good morning.
Enjoy this. Walking out. He has like a brownies or something.
I need to wash my car.
Just a casual morning. 8 a.m., I think.
Oh my God, the bobcat! Oh my God! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Lindsay! Watch out! Oh, shoot that!
Nice moves, Dad.
Get out! Watch out! Watch out! It's a bobcat! Attack my wife! A bobcat! Good morning.
So good, am I right? So good. Good work, Pops. Well, he's not old enough to be my dad, I don't think. Looks like he's in his 50s. He's all jolly. Good morning. Talking to somebody so wholesome. Somebody walking, taking a morning walk, 8 a.m. in the morning. In the suburbs. The beautiful suburbs that President Trump wanted to protect, but sleazy Joe Biden wants to tear down and build high rises and redistribute ghetto people so that everybody's miserable, right? Into the beautiful suburbs. Protect the suburbs, our suburban neighborhoods. And no, that's not necessarily a dog whistle, but take it that way if you like, because whites do tend to be better behaved than many POCs. Just happens to be the case. Because Joe Biden's like, that's a dog whistle. There's all kinds of people in the suburbs, POCs. That wasn't what Trump was saying, but whatever. Let's see that toss one more time. Clip B. I got clip B. Zoomed in on this man. I promise I won't take too long on this, but I just have to show it to you. Listen to this guy. Watch this guy. And listen to the thump.
Oh my God, Bobcat! Oh my God!
So is it?
Get out! Get out! Get out! Get to me! Get out! Let
Did he
me!
land on his
Watch
feet?
out!
Watch it in slow motion. Part C, I think, is slow motion. Did he land on his feet? I don't think he landed on his feet. Probably not good to throw a bobcat for the cat, I mean. Listen to this and watch if you're watching.
Oh my God! Bobcat! Oh my God!
So what is it? Ooh. Ouch. Wonder if it broke a rib. So right on. I hear that he may have shot it, or it may have been caught and killed. It may have tested positive for rabies. Probably those people are going to get rabies shots. One biologist commented, who's like a National Geographic biologist woman, right? Imogen, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Imogen, Imogene, Cancelare, tweeted out a picture of a bobcat, and I have this picture. It's cool. It shows you what a bobcat looks like. They're like a oversized house cat, a cool color, and they have pointy thing on their ears. And this particular bobcat, there's a prairie dog that this bobcat caught, an older male, and his leg was mangled a little, likely shot by a rancher. Cool, huh? Zoom in on that picture of that bobcat. Well, they have like points. They have points to their ears. They're not huge. A man could throw it, but you don't want to get in the way of their claws or their teeth. They're nasty. I remember with when I had G.I. Joe guys, action figures, I had a guy who had a bobcat as his pet. I had a G.I. Joe guy who had a bobcat as his pet. Anyway, rumor has it, it might have been a juvenile cat or a small cat or a mother cat or something. But that's what they sound like. They go, well, cats in general, even just house cats or neighborhood stray cats, they go, they sound like babies crying and yelling at each other. You heard them fight before? Oh my gosh. So cool. Anyway, I'm going to tell you about frankspeech.com, but I want to get to a call or two. I have Crystal on the line. Wants to comment on this 13-year-old blah, 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 who got himself shot late last month, I guess. Crystal in Chicago, Illinois. She's from here. She's from where it went down. Thank you for calling, first-time caller. Crystal, what's up?
Hi, Hake.
Hey.
Hey, yes, I just wanted to talk about what occurred with the 13-year-old boy, because I'm actually from the community where it occurred.
Oh, so you're from that particular neighborhood, the Hispanic neighborhood where that is?
Yes, I live a couple blocks away from where it happened.
Wow. So did you hear the shots?
Yes, but it's pretty normal, especially here. Because,
right.
Well, in Little Village, because it happens almost every other day, so it's pretty normal.
Shootings.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, we didn't put any mind to it.
Right.
But what's happening right now is that they're protesting on the streets.
Yeah.
And they're speaking of taking care of the businesses right here in the community, but trying to destroy the ones in downtown.
What a shame. It's ridiculous.
Right. And also the community leaders are involved with that too. They're seeking justice. But keep in mind, the community leaders, some of them are actually gang affiliated as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're kind of in the in crowd with the gangs.
Right. And it's pretty pathetic.
Some people, there's speculation, maybe it's more than speculation, maybe there's evidence that this guy was a gang member himself, this 13-year-old.
He was gang affiliated.
Yeah. They called him Little Homicide or Little something, Little Diablo, Little Devil.
Right. That's what I'm, and it's not, and it's pretty normal as well for
Baby
kids to be
Diablo.
involved in,
Right.
to be involved with gangs.
Yeah.
Even at the age of 10, it's normal here.
Yeah.
Well, people find it normal, but it's children start being gang affiliated as early as 10 years old.
Wow, that's
And-
wild.
Right, and then the thing about it is that the mother does not want to take responsibility of her failing her child.
Yeah.
Like
True.
she wants the cop to take responsibility.
Yep. I noticed that. I have a clip or two to play of the mayor saying, "We failed, blah, blah."
Right.
And I'm like, we didn't fail. You didn't fail. The mother or the father or both. The parents failed him. That's
exactly.
crazy.
And then I know I watched it on the news. The mother crying, giving a sob story that he used or whatever. But by the end of the day, is that she raised the criminal.
Right.
And what was interesting is that yesterday at 3 p.m., Lori Lightfoot had mentioned that the video was going to be released, and she was making it a big deal
Yeah.
or whatever. And then when the video was released by the media, they didn't show. It was heavily edited. They didn't show him having the gun.
Yeah.
They just showed him having the hands up.
Wow.
And I knew there was something fishy about that because I'm like, I know that usually game makers here, when they start running, it's because they have a gun
Yeah.
or they have something on them. And I didn't put any thought to it. I just waited, and that's when I saw the video that Jesse released today, where he actually had the gun.
In his right hand or something like that?
Yes.
Wow. That's what a mess.
And then I also noticed that the protests are being led by either women, millennials,
Yeah.
or the Generation Z, because if you ask any older person like the boomers, they actually agree with the killing of this kid.
Yeah.
They're like, where was his parents?
Right. Yeah, he was asking for it. He
Right.
in the split second that he tossed the gun or whatever, if he really had the gun, and he's turning around and putting his hands up. Turning around. I don't know. I saw lights flashing on this guy. It's dark.
Mm-hmm.
The cop has a split second decision, and you can't hold the cop responsible for that after the kid does, the so-called kid, right? He's playing man.
Mm-hmm.
Does all of that. That's insane. They're not being reasonable. It's so true. I noticed that too,
Exactly.
and they're presenting mothers in these protests. I have a picture that I'll show in a second or later of like these marchers with this very nicely printed, I say nicely printed, meaning like professionally printed banner that says, "Stop killing us, cover up," has a picture of a little kid. And I presume that that's this blah blah guy when he was like young, maybe 10 years old or younger.
Right.
And they're playing like, oh, these mothers are losing their children to the violent and racist police. Give me a break. And it's translated in Spanish on one side and English on the other. It's shameful. You make a good point about the women and the millennials.
I know, and that's the thing. Like most of the protests that happen in this community is literally based on race issues that
Yeah.
white people are racist, and they're saying that that's why he got killed because he was Mexican. If it was a white person, then of course they wouldn't shoot him or shot him. And then it's obviously mostly white people actually do not resist arrest.
And most white kids are not out at 3 a.m. With a gun, with a
But that's
21-year-old.
It's so normal here having these kids, especially at a young age, being outside at that time.
Right.
That's why when I hear shooting, it's just normal because they just literally shoot at vehicles that either have tints and windows
Yeah.
or they don't recognize the vehicle because they're always outside, so they recognize everything.
Yeah.
And if they don't recognize the vehicle, even if there's a black person here in the community,
Uh-huh.
they will literally start attacking them.
Yeah. No, I'm not surprised to hear that. Yeah, the Hispanics, the gang members, they're no angels. I used to think that the Hispanics were as bad as the blacks, but it turns out the blacks have them topped in terms of the violence. But there are some vicious people, criminals, and they're raised that way too. Because I don't know where this boy's father was, this boy playing man, his father was, but like you said, they're all like raised in the gangs, basically.
That's how we were. I was raised as like that as well, especially because I was involved in the community. I was raised to hate cops.
Yeah.
I was raised to see the gamingers as them taking care of us.
Yeah.
I was even being raised by gamingers.
Right.
So it was just that. But at one point after, I woke up, I just noticed that the thing that's holding Mexicans back is the culture, it's the tradition, especially the mothers.
Yeah.
And usually the gamingers who get involved with the gang life is because they're having issues at home, especially with the mom. And they view the mom as their god. You have to.
I know. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the Latin gangs, they in some cases, their inspiration, the crimes that they commit, at least the cartels, the crimes that they commit were inspiration for ISIS. You know how ISIS was cutting off heads and burning people alive and different things like that? They got their inspiration from some of these drug cartels that have taken chainsaws to people and all kinds of horrific things.
I know. My plan is to move out from this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because if you have a child and you really love your child, you will not raise them here because it is dangerous.
Right.
They claim that they care about us, but they don't.
Yep.
I don't even identify with them anymore. But even where the shooting happened, there's a high school next, the next block. I actually attended that high school.
Wow.
And 50% was black and 50% was Mexican. And it's true, like Josie said, blacks do not like Mexicans and Mexicans do not like blacks.
Yep, fights.
They're always fighting. So right now they're trying to team up with the Black Lives Matter, say black and brown, but it's all a show because they don't like them. By the end of the day, whenever they see a black person in the community, they start saying bad stuff about them. But keep in mind, some of those black people in the neighborhood that pass by the neighborhood are not good people as well.
Right.
It's just in general, this community is not good at all. And right now they're just trying to seek justice for the kid. And I'm like, so what? You do understand if the death of this kid, if he wouldn't have died, keep in mind that a couple minutes before, he was shooting at a vehicle. He could have possibly killed the people that were in that vehicle.
Yeah.
And that would have been considered just another murder. But just because a cop killed this kid, or man, how you say it, you want to seek justice.
Yep. Yeah, it's ridiculous. The kid got the justice. He got justice, basically. It was street justice. Because he got what he played a risky game. And it killed him. It's ridiculous. Well, I appreciate it, Crystal. I wish you well. Hope you're able to get out of there. In the meantime,
I will.
Stay smart and safe. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Lin Yan Chin says, he overreacted like a woman as he held it up. A real man would have calmly looked at the Bobcat's eyes and it would have settled down in full domestication. That's Lin Yan Chin referring to the father, the husband, who was like, good morning. Oh my God, it's a Bobcat. Bobcat, it's a Bobcat. And then he hip tosses it. Yeah. I think he did overreact, but he handled it. It's a Bobcat attacking my wife. It's funny. And cat, talk about catty. Wow, what a mess. So let me tell you quickly, before I get back to calls, I have Keith on the line, from Illinois, wants to talk about the shooting hypocrisy this week, and Tony in California wants to comment on this sergeant harassing a black in South Carolina. That's that army or military man who is like, we've had problems here. You get on out of here. And of course, Zach in Columbus, Ohio, on this Florida anti-riot bill. Real quick, let me show you some tweets about Kyle Rittenhouse, because Kyle Rittenhouse was trending. I'm like, that's one of my favorite people. Actually, I don't know much about Kyle, but he seems like an upstanding young man, or at least he was. I don't know if all of this fame may get to him, because he did have a single mother, but seems like a decent guy. He wanted to protect the community, and that's what he did. He protected himself very well over in Kenosha, Wisconsin. But he was trending on Twitter, and I have these big, long bunch of tweets, because I was looking at the trend, right? And a bunch of blue check marks and dumb liberals, evil liberals. Sorry, I'm trying not to use the word dumb. I'm not trying very hard, but anyway. Are comparing Kyle Rittenhouse, Kyle Jack Bauer, John Wick Rittenhouse, who was protecting the community against destroyers, community destroyers. That's what BLM Antifa are. They hate decency and civilization. They are uncivilized, act like animals. And Kyle was protecting property, businesses, and he was also there with medical to help anybody who may have gotten hurt, and he had a gun, an AR that his buddy gave him, or handed to him, after he crossed state lines. He did not cross state lines with a gun. Not that there should be anything wrong with that, honestly. But anyway, he was attacked, and he defended himself quite aptly, and it was amazing seeing him do it. That's why I call him Jack Bauer, John Wick Rittenhouse. He didn't hurt anybody he didn't mean to. He didn't hurt anybody who wasn't threatening him and assaulting him. So he was trending yesterday because some 13-year-old thug man, and I use the term man very loosely, blah, 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 blah. Sean Hannity called him a 13-year-old man too, I heard. The great Sean Hannity over on Fox News. And he's right. It's true. Playing man, right? He got himself killed. No comparison between Kyle Rittenhouse, upstanding young man, and this 13-year-old little homicide, 13-year-old baby Diablo, baby devil. I'm sorry, I thought there was a Second Amendment, only for Kyle, not for criminals. Well, I don't know. But Jason C., a blue check mark on Twitter, said the same voices who say Adam Toledo shouldn't have ran, it's actually shouldn't have run, will tell you Kyle Rittenhouse was just defending himself. And I say, that's correct, and we are right. Those voices are right. Sleeping Giants is a far-left, evil communist group that likes to take down true voices. I think they were behind taking down well, they're going after Tucker. Put it that way. Going after Tucker. One man telling the truth. Pam Bondi, the great Pam Bondi, gone after JLP many times. Sleeping Giants, evil people. Scum of the earth. Deport Sleeping Giants. Pam Bondi on this very same network, Fox News, called Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old Kenosha shooter, the rightful shooter, a little boy. Pam. Oh, come on, Pam Bondi. She was I think she's out of Florida. She was a lawyer type of a woman, but a decent lady overall, I would say. The office she held notwithstanding, right? And Sleeping Giant was quote tweeting the evil communist Media Matters against America. Media Matters against America is what I call them. Sean Hannity describes Adam Toledo blah, 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 a 13-year-old man. Yep, 17-year-old Chris Brown is a president of Brady United, meaning anti-Second Amendment. This woman named Chris. 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse was armed with an AR-15 when he killed two people in self-defense, I add. Police treated him to water and let him go home. Actually, I think Kyle gave the police water. 13-year-old, I could be wrong. 13-year-old hashtag blah, 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 blah was unarmed. Well, after he tossed the gun, I guess you could call him unarmed. He had his hands in the air when he was shot and killed by police. This is systemic racism, and it is deadly. Give me a break. Sick people. When Kyle Rittenhouse, says Joshua Potash, some random dumb liberal with a mask on his profile, walked up to the police with a rifle. They gave him water and thanked him. And then he murdered 2 people. No, he killed them in self-defense. And he shot the arm of one man who was trying to murder him. And I use the term man loosely. When Adam blah, blah, blah stood with his hands in the air, police murdered him and then claimed he had a gun. Abolish the police. Man, imagine posting cringy material like that. Cringe-inducing material. Cringe like that, to use the Zoomer lingo. Anthony V. Clark, another blue check mark, said Kyle Rittenhouse, a then armed 17-year-old male from Antioch, Illinois, shot and killed 2 people, criminals I would add, and wounded another criminal. Blah, 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 blah. A 13-year-old kid from Chicago, Illinois, had his hands up without a gun. Only Kyle Rittenhouse is still here. And thank God for that. Thank you, Second Amendment. Thank you, God, for the God-given right to carry a gun, especially if you're a lawful citizen like Kyle. Free Kyle, am I right? Brooklyn Dad is another guy. Brooklyn Dad Defiant. A cringy guy. Trump hater. A disgrace of a father. Says it's an unjust world that allows a murderer like Kyle Rittenhouse, John Wick, Jack Bauer, out on bail after killing 2 people while the 13-year-old, unarmed, blah, 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 never had a chance. And on it goes. Some male, presumably male, maybe it's transgender, John Collins says, I'm struggling with the fact that blah, 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 13-year-old is dead, but Kyle Rittenhouse is out there somewhere, wandering around freely. And on it goes. They call him there's one female named Muriel Vieux, calls Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist. Ridiculous. It's an attack on whites. There's no comparison. Free Kyle. Poor little homicide. Yep. Shameful. It's a ridiculous attack on Kyle. And this stuff is allowed to... white supremacist? Excuse me. These charges are disputed. You know how Twitter used to do that to Trump and anybody who would talk about election shenanigans? Oh, these are disputed. Facts are not all out. But these people are freely able to smear decent Americans. And I hope Kyle hangs tight on what is right. Yeah, that Brooklyn Dad character is literally a meme, says Brandon M. I agree. Ragnar0321 says, when you have the head of the ADL, Jonathan Greenblatt, demanding your head on a pike, I'd say you're doing something right. Talking probably about Tucker Carlson. It is shameful. Disgusting. Let me show you before I get back to calls. FrankSpeech.com. I got to show this to you. Clip 16. It is, and then I will get to calls. You guys want to talk about this mess and other things? I think I'll get to Zach next. Hang tight, Zach. I don't know much about MyPillow's Mike Lindell, but he's fun to listen to a little bit. And he came up with this website. I told you about it in Hake News during the Jesse Lee Peterson show, end of the second hour. This is from FrankSpeech.com. Mike Lindell presents Frank, which some of you guys says, oh my gosh, this sounds cringe. But, you know, I love boomers, and so should you. Or maybe this guy is a Gen X, older Gen X. The voice of free speech, Frank. Listen to this clip. Mike Lindell presents Frank. It's about 2 minutes long. It's clip 16. Did I put it in there? Let me see. Okay. Oh, sure enough, you're right. Let me put it in there. In the meantime, let me get to actually Zach in Columbus, and then I'll get to Frank. Zach in Columbus, Ohio. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hake, how are you?
Doing fine as well. Thank you. Nice to hear
good.
from you.
Well, today I actually, there were like 38 teachers that were gone because they were all getting the vaccine. So my mom just signed me out of school, and I'm on my way home because I was like, there's no point in being at school if I'm going to have subs for all my periods.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Fair point.
And they offered the vaccine to all the kids, too, at the high school across the street, but I was like, I'm not getting that bull crap.
Yeah.
I'm not against it, but, like...
You don't need it. You're young and healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they're smart, though, to... Did it freeze or something? Or... Oh, sorry. They are smart to get their vaccine, if they're gonna get it, on a Friday so that they can suffer on Saturday and Sunday, because I hear that they get flu-like symptoms and they would need to get a sick day. One school I heard about, one district actually suspended school, I think, for a day or two because so many teachers were sick after getting the shot.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that you get kind of like sick after, and even if you had COVID, that you get even sicker because you had COVID. So now it's like your symptoms are back. But I wanted to talk about this, and this just shows how degenerate the Black Lives Matter protesters are and how they're ruining America. Because if the governor of Florida has to pass a bill saying that, you know, anti-protest, isn't that what it's called? The anti-protest bill or something like that?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with what Florida is doing about these riots. Anti-riot bill?
Yeah, so there's something called the anti-riot bill, and basically the governor of Florida passed it, and it's specifically for the Black Lives Matter protesters, apparently.
Good. Somebody has to address it. The heck?
Yes, exactly. And basically, if you riot, like, the police and all that have the right to, like, arrest you and everything and use force and stuff, which I think is good.
Yes.
Because, you know, they need to be handled. And it shouldn't just, even though they're saying it's just for Black Lives Matter, you know, it's probably for all the other rioters, too, because, you know, everybody's going crazy. The Asians, the Mexicans.
Yeah.
Especially with that 13-year-old boy who was a thug, a Mexican thug.
Yep.
But, yeah.
A proud one at that.
Yep, exactly. And it's kind of disgusting. 13 years old, and they're saying that his life mattered when he literally was a thug gangbanging.
Yeah, he was throwing away his life, and his mother was throwing away his life. I don't know where his father was. I haven't heard anything about the father, if they even know him.
Yeah. I actually might become, I was talking to Skip yesterday. I gave Skip a call.
Okay.
I might be coming down to the men's forum. I just have to, am I allowed to go? Am I old enough?
Men's conference you're talking about? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, in Florida.
You're 17, right? 16, 15?
16, yeah.
Okay.
But I'll be 17 in August.
Yeah, you should be fine, I think.
I just
call the bond office just to confirm. But I think you're fine. Especially if it's cool with your parents or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how it goes
them.
with regard to minors, since you are a minor.
Okay.
But yeah, just call the bond office, confirm. 800-411-BOND. 1-800-411-2663. That's bond.
I just, because we start school August 15th, so I have to convince my mother and father that it's a great idea to go to the men's conference a day before school starts.
Yeah. Bring your dad if he wants.
Yeah, he's not really into all the Jesse stuff. He doesn't even like that I watch Jesse, and neither does my mom. But I mean,
nice.
I think I can convince them that because they want to go to Florida anyway this summer. So I was like,
I believe it's open. As far as we're concerned, we advise anyone 14 and up can join us.
Okay.
Any male. This is a men's conference for men. Women not allowed in the men's conference.
No women.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, I think Skip said he's coming down too, so hopefully
cool.
It can be are you going to be down there?
I'm planning on it.
All right, yeah. It can be a Hake Report chat meetup.
Nice. Right on.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, and that's going to be on a Saturday, I believe the 14th of August, check out rebuildingtheman.com/events. You can call our office if there's any info that you can't find right there. But it's all coming together.
Are the tickets out yet?
I believe if it's not yet, it's going up today. Tickets will Monday. Monday tickets will be available for sale.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, Hake. Nice talking to you.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate the support, and be a light to your family.
Yes, I will. And
All right.
hopefully see you in August.
Nice. I would like that. Cool, man.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Yep.
Skip says, I talked with Zach yesterday, and he's a nice young man with a bright future in front of him. Right on. Yeah, especially if he stays wise and doesn't go too wild, which I think he is willing to do. So that's cool. Quickly, before I get back to calls, I got to show this clip to you guys. Oh, by the way, just about this bill that he suggested, that he mentioned. This Florida Senate, according to WESH, an NBC affiliate, WESH2 local news, reporting from Tallahassee, Florida. The Florida Senate has passed a controversial, meaning conservative, common sense. Usually that's what that means when they call it controversial, when it's coming from mainstream media. Anti-riot bill, seeking to increase penalties for crimes committed during a riot. Very good. The bill is supported by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, based. Now heading to his desk for a signature, opponents say it will be a chilling impact on free speech. Yeah, right. Like you even care about free speech, you BLM supporter, snakes, enemies of America. You want no USA at all. Give me a break. Republicans say the measure is needed to protect law and order. Right on. You know, honestly, we need to return to manhood. There was a Democrat mayor or governor over in like Illinois or Detroit or somewhere who said, shoot to kill anybody with a Molotov cocktail, something along these lines, and shoot to maim looters. I think it might have been along those lines. I'm probably butchering the exact message. But it was a Democrat who said that way back when, as JLP says, boys were boys and men were men. And think about how that put a damper. Honestly, I don't condone the shooting of Ashley Babbitt, but think about how nobody tried to go through that window. Not that they were going to, but nobody tried it after that cop shot Ashley Babbitt. Think about if that were the norm. If that were the norm, Ashley Babbitt wouldn't have tried it. You know what I mean? It's just the police have become so soft in certain ways. The men have become so soft that stuff is just allowed to go out of control, and then they put the clamp down hard on the conservatives, on the decent pro-America people, and then they let these evil people run wild, destroyers and killers. Because that's what BLM Antifa are. They destroy and kill and lie and steal and smear. So the bill wouldn't affect freedom of speech, Republicans say. And not speech protected by the U.S. Constitution. It would protect people and property. Democrats say it was drafted in an effort to quash protests, so-called protests, by groups like BLM. Well, good, because BLM has no business putting out their defamation. Defamation is not legal. That's not free speech. And that's all they're doing is lying about the cops and whites. So get them out of here. Out. Burn, loot, murder. Buy little manners or whatever. I don't know. Well, I don't know what. Buy large mansions. I forget what it was. Anyway. I got to show you guys Mike Lindell. Speaking of actual free speech, MyPillow's Mike Lindell. 2-minute clip here, guys. I edited it down a little bit. Courtesy of frankspeech.com, Mike Lindell, CEO of MyPillow, presents Frank. Enjoy this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to frankspeech.com. This is going to be a platform like no other. It's kind of like a YouTube, Twitter combination. We've been working on it 4 years. I have spent over the last 4 weeks, I've spent millions of dollars making it the most secure. We're going to be able to handle the capacity. Your everything's going to be the most secure. We're not going to be able to, we're going to be attacked, but I have my own servers and everything. We're not going to be worried about Amazon taking it down or YouTube or Google or Apple. And we are going to get our voice of free speech out there. We're going to have the biggest launch. It's going to be a 2-day, I call it a Frankathon. I'm going to be on there live all day long. This platform, it's like a YouTube, Twitter combination. You've never seen anything like it. You're going to love it. You're going to have your own like YouTube channel, only that's your Twitter handle, or Twitter channel, so to speak. But I'm just so excited. I just want everybody, it's going to be all of the cancels of our First Amendment rights we're seeing going on right now. Well, guess what? It's coming back. You're not going to have to worry about what you're saying and what's going and you worry about being able to speak out freely. I want you to look at our mission statement, because we went back and defined, and we found from our founding fathers in the Supreme Court and stuff, what defines free speech. Beautiful. So you're not going to have to worry about people if they're on there. There's going to be a good reporting system, but you don't get to use the 4 swear words, the C word, the N word, the F word, or God's name in vain. Nice. You can't have free speech is not pornography. Free speech isn't I'm going to kill you. It's very well defined in our mission statement. It's going to be an amazing platform. And I am so excited because what's going on right now, they're trying to take everything from us in our country, and we need to get our First Amendment. We need to exercise that and start speaking freely again. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. What's this guy's name? Mike Lindell. Who is Frank? Because Frank is the name of this thing. I think it's referring to Frank speaking frankly. Frank Hassel? Oh, the great Frank Hassel. Yeah. YouTube Twitter combo, sign me up, says Jim Eagle. Yeah, those are my 2 favorite platforms in terms of their function. I like going on Twitter a little bit to see what people are saying. And I like YouTube. YouTube is fun. You get to see people's very frank comments on YouTube. But YouTube is now like censoring your comments. Seems like a third of your comments, I can't even see them. I have no access to them. Even when I go into like held for review or may not be appropriate or whatever, I cannot find many of your comments that you guys leave for me. And they're like vanilla, which means very good, delicious comments. Awesome comments. Perfectly no poison inside comments. But they're still censoring. It's ridiculous. So I'm for this, and I'm fine with who cares if the boomers don't want to hear the N word. Which one is the N word? The C word, the F word, or taking the Lord's name in vain. I'm fine with that. Is it going to be the boomer Fox News talking points? As Jim Eagle says. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, guys, we're at 5 minutes till the end of the hour. Let me quickly get to Tony in California. He wants to comment on this sergeant who was harassing a black in South Carolina. What's up, Tony? How are you doing?
What's going on? Hake report, live. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Nice to hear from you.
All right, my friend. Yeah, I was calling about the situation with the big bad bully sergeant or the guy from the army. Talking about what you doing in my neighborhood when the black guy lived a couple blocks down the street.
Yeah, what's he doing a couple blocks away from his house in a neighborhood? There's no shops around. It looked like it was a suburb on a cul-de-sac. Thank God for big bad bullies. We need more of them.
Well, you saying you can't walk around the neighborhood to get some exercise, or
if that's what he was doing, fine. But reports are that we've had problems here. That's what the reports have been.
Yeah, he's walking around the neighborhood getting exercise, and white folks are hating because they see a black man walking the neighborhood.
No, you know what? It's more than just the fact that he's black. He's black and a bit of a troublemaker, possibly.
Okay, what did they have anything that he stole, or he harassed anybody, or he was just walking and being black?
You don't want to wait around until somebody steals something. You want to get the riffraff out.
So if he was a white guy walking, then they would have been fine.
Well, white guys don't tend to steal as much per capita.
Damn, you stole the whole country. How the hell you gonna say that?
We rightfully stole it, like civilized men.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
and that's a long time ago. We don't steal from individuals. We steal countries like gentlemen. We took over America.
And rape and murder people to take over something, right? That's what you're saying?
That's right.
Okay.
According to Tony, hold on, Tony. According to Asmodor over on Trovo, that black guy, DeAndre, had allegedly assaulted a woman and tried to walk away with a baby right in front of the mother.
Was he arrested? Was he arrested, or this is a hearsay?
There had been
twisted, or is this something else y'all been twisted?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what he's saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Now, and one more thing. Now, the MyPillow guy is coming out with free speech. What is it?
Free speech except the N-word and Lord's name in vain.
No, he said
and the F-word.
And
the C-word.
Everything is good to go to say on there?
Not everything.
Well, I thought you said good. You said you can say the N-word because you say the N-word a whole lot of times.
No, I stopped.
No,
you have not heard me. You have never in your life heard me say the N-word.
Every time you hear the N-word, you get the giggling and twitching in the seat.
I know, because it's a funny word. It's funny. Even blacks laugh at it sometimes.
It's funny. I'll tell you one thing. So every time you smile about it, can I smack you in the face?
No, because that's assault.
I thought so.
Words are not assault.
Yeah, okay.
But it would be just like your kind to do that.
Lose his mind when somebody call him the N-word out there at the Slut Fest.
Not true.
All you got to do is look at his own YouTube, brother.
I did.
You said not true. He lost his mind. Where the police? She called me the N-word. He called me the N-word. He racist. See, Justin losing mind.
No, that's not losing his mind. That's fighting with fire. That's awesome.
Justin lost his. I seen Justin got angry.
You're not one to talk about somebody losing their mind. You done lost your mind a long time ago. You're out of your mind.
Okay, well that's your opinion, and then you know what they say. What opinions is?
That many times mine are right.
Yeah. Okay. Really. Well, hey, let me say this, man. America ain't no country in the history of the world ever stayed in power. No people in the history of the world stayed in power.
So are you celebrating? Are you celebrating the downfall of America?
You know you are losing
Tony.
white power.
Tony.
And y'all are the minority here in America right now.
It just so happens that the whites are mostly for what's right. So you should not be celebrating the downfall of America because you're going to suffer.
Murder, steal, and rape. That's what's right for white America.
Okay. Very nice.
And you know what the thing is, hey, America will be right, and God gonna make things right for what y'all did to
you don't know God.
What y'all did to the Mexicans, what y'all did to everything on this
The
earth.
Mexicans did not even exist. The Mexicans are a country. Hold on, Tony. Hold on, Tony. Tony. The Mexicans were created when the Spaniards mixed and conquered and mixed with the Indians there. That's how Mexico was created. So we didn't do anything. It was a fair fight between colonizers, and we won this part rightfully. And honestly, we gave them more than they had. So anyway,
let me say this
Tony.
to you. Let me give you a little history, brother. The word California came from a black woman, and the land and the area you sitting there is Mexico right now.
No,
so
it's not.
Enjoy where you sitting there in Mexico, because that was Mexican.
You are a sick person, Tony. All right, thanks. Have a good one.
Have a good day.
You too. Very nice. Let that hate out, Tony. It's Friday, says Shane. Okay, guys, I have another, before I get back to calls and everything else, I have stuff to play from Lori Lightfoot, just ridiculous woman. Evil person. She's talking about this 13-year-old blah, 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 who got himself killed. And I have your calls. Shooting hypocrisy. and various things. I have one more final for the week, maybe, unless I decide to play one at the very end. Extol song. By the way, I have this CD cover. You see this? Extol. This CD I bought at Lighthouse Christian bookstores 23 years ago. It is older than Zach himself. Zach from Columbus, Ohio. This CD is older than you. This is what we used to carry, hold. We didn't have iPods or MP3s or anything. Look at this very quality CD. This is what we used to use. I remember that was the early 90s to late 90s that we had these, and through the early 2000s. And before that, we had tapes, cassette tapes. So, yes, I used to buy CDs from the Christian bookstore after test listening. Be very careful how I spend my 10 to 12 bucks. Boomer moment. So enjoy. I will play the. You see the lyrics for that one. It's this one is called "Embraced." It talks about evil and it talks about how Satan puts suicidal thoughts and different things. Embraced by evil and then embraced by our Lord. Bro, I love CDs, says Beta Legs. So this is a short and sweet one. I will be right back in 2 or 3 minutes. Hang tight and enjoy. And boomers, cover your ears. Be right back. Accepting the sacrifice is the only way to be whole again. That's what that song was saying. Thank you guys for the beautiful comments. That's called drums, right? I can't listen to this nonsense, Chris Anderson says. A. Owen says, this is exfoliating. Jesse's shaking his head, says Eric. Is this what a mental breakdown looks like, asks Tom New. Hake, change your music, says Madi Uvaldo. What's up, Madi? Nice to hear from you. Bone Thugs. This is silly music, says Peter Pandemic. Funny name. I really like reading the lyrics. Glad they're up there. Interesting to still hear how someone else would write music to it besides me, says Elron Humperdinck. What would Holly think? SMH, says Hondo Hunter. I love this, says Brindle. This entire album is a banger, meaning that's great, says Jim Eagle. Thank you guys for the feedback for and against. You know, there is more information out there about that little confrontation between the 42-year-old soldier stationed at Fort Jackson in South Carolina, I believe, Jonathan Pentland, who confronted that, facing third-degree assault charges, but who confronted that possible troublemaker. There's more info out there, including about this DeAndre person. DeAndre, or however you say the name. Anyway, thank you guys. Based AF, Based America First says, we know blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. Who is blah? How long until blah, 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 blah? You need to progress to blah, blah times 7. Blah, blah number 7. Thank you, Based America First. We do not need to say their names. I think that's it's a brilliant move by JLP. I am following his lead. Jim Eagle pirated the Extol discography the first day Hake played them on the show. Thanks, Hake. You're the coolest boomer I know. I'm the youngest borderline Gen X, Gen Y boomer that you've ever met. You know, I didn't really buy any other Extol albums. I bought the Blueprint Dives from the #1 Extol fan on Decapolis music board. I disavow pirating. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Good catch. I'm so used to people doing that nowadays that I used to be very vocal against pirating. I disavow. Make sure you support the artist or the record label or whoever owns it now, right? This one it's a re-release by Solid State a year after it first came out. Solid State being a tooth and nail. Check your email, boomer, says Dark Side of the Bear. What? Dark Side of the Bear, what, says Hake with a Trovo super cap. Hake, I think it's cool you like what music you like and consider other opinions, yet don't let them affect yours. Good for you being an example of how to be your own man. That's kind. And Brandon M. says, California came from Queen Califia, a story from 1510, when Tony's ancestors were swatting flies in the mud huts. Get real. So it's not named after a black woman? Who cares? But thank you. I think the sheriff confirmed a story that Asmodor was talking about with that black guy. DeAndre, is that the name? It was confirmed by a sheriff, I believe. The report being placed on pre-trial diversion so he can get help. Yeah, diversion. Diversion programs. Because they need social workers, not cops or punishment. It is pretty shameful. This kissing up to the criminals and cracking down on the Americans, the true Americans, the American patriots. Of which I consider Mike Lindell to be one. Don't know him all that well. I know he came from a rough background. Drugs and all that stuff. Got his life together. Started MyPillow.com. Advertised on Fox News. Made a killing. In a good way. And now he's investing in free speech to a point. Maybe not to as much of a point as many of us would like, but no cussing, that's fine. You don't have to say the N-word, right? Anyway, I got to get to Keith in Illinois. He's been on hold forever. Wants to comment on this shooting hypocrisy this week, of which there have been many, honestly. Keith, how are you doing?
All right, Hake, how are you, buddy?
Doing fine, thank you. It's good to hear from you.
Oh, yeah, always. Well, my comment was I noticed that when it comes to like that black guy that killed 5 people, the Muslim that killed 10 people, somebody always say mentally, they have mental problems.
Right.
Okay. And then everybody just drop it. Of course, CNN, everybody, CNBC, CBS, everybody, mental, okay, they drop it. But when if it's a white guy, now he's not giving the mental, perspective. He's just a racist.
Yep.
You know, like, he don't
Good
get
point.
no mental nothing. Right. He's white, so he's racist. And just like when he killed the 6 Asians, the 2 white women, and tried to kill the Hispanic woman, those 2, white people and Hispanic, they didn't count. It was just like it was Asians. And he told them.
Right.
Now, it's amazing that Biden and then Harris went down there and made a racist statement. When they killed when the Muslim killed 10 people, they said we got to investigate and looked into it, and they dropped it. I mean, can't you see the hypocrisy? It's like Tony and people like they. I know I'm black, so I know black people. The one thing about the pandemic, I don't have to talk to these people because when you have evidence like this, when you can see stuff on camera, they just like Jesse said, then they fall asleep and all they see is black and white. And they don't want to see any truth. And I'm going to tell you something. I was like them, too, when I was in my 30s. I bought into the liberal lie, the race hustlers, and I hated America, and I hated myself, and I hated everybody.
Yeah.
So I didn't care what happened to me or America. See, when you hate, you don't care what happens to you either. As long as you know that your enemy is suffering, you don't even care about you suffering, which has got to be that ain't nothing but Satan. That is the stupidest thing in the world, that you hate your enemy so much that you rather get rid of all the water to see him die of thirst, and then you die of thirst after him.
Yeah. That's so true.
Ignorant.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is so, you're so right. That's what that spirit does, like self-destructive, and you just want to spread misery, spread your misery to others.
Right. You don't even care what happens to you. I mean, I've seen it. I was part of that at one point. You hate your enemy. So it's just like, if I can remember the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Okay. So it's like my enemy can say, you're my enemy. I mean, okay, I can clarify you my enemy. So the person can say, yeah, that's your enemy. Now, the whole time they are depleting my resources, my food, and my water. But I'm so concentrated on hating you, I don't realize until I die that they've been depleting my resources to survive. That's the hate that the liberals teach and the Democrats teach and Satan teaches. And these people fall for it hook, line, and sinker.
That's why I think JLP's message and the Bible's message, God's message of getting rid of all anger and hatred and division and all that stuff, is at least all this unnecessary stuff, is so important because people, whites will say, or many of us people who have sense, a little bit of sense, will say, comply, don't resist arrest and all that stuff. But knowing that doesn't change it in the heat of the moment. When you resort to what's in your spirit, which is to lash out, be afraid or angry and violent and fight back and just get yourself killed or put the cops' life at risk or put the community's life at risk. That's why these people are so insane.
That's
because
true,
of that.
and that's why CNN, I always tell people like CNN don't pay your bills. If you get sick and get cancer, they're not going to send you a card. They're not going to do, all they do is teach hate. And I ask people, what is hate doing for you? Because I can understand if hate sends you a check or hate took care of you when you were sick. And I said, but they make themselves rich teaching you hate, and all you get is hate and destruction for. I said, how do you keep falling for the same kind? But when you're in the fallen state, I understand I was there too. And I got to say one more thing because I know you got to go. These are white liberals that BLM and they fall. It's like you people are retarded and ignorant. Once these people see you, you can say, you can show up your Black Lives Matter badge. You can show anything you want to. They still going to they still going to try to kill you. They don't care the fact that that you claim BLM and you got your blue hair. They don't see that. They see white. They don't see anything else. So if they catch you in their neighborhood, they're gonna beat you beyond recognition, just like they do each other. Of course.
Right.
So it's like, if black people hate each other so much, what do you think they're gonna do to you?
Yeah. Good point.
Then you will ignite more hate. I just don't, man. People, I know they're in a fallen state, and these CNNs and MSNBC and ABC and all these other people keep them in that mind frame so they can control them, so they can get more power and money. But it's just like, people, wake up. These Tonys, they ain't going to wake up, and other people like that. I'm talking about people with half sense.
Yeah.
Like Tony said, California. I even heard somebody say, white women come from black women. I'd be like, huh? What's the? I mean, so they make up all these sayings, and the rest of them fall for because they're in a fallen state, and it makes no sense whatsoever. And if you hate America so much, I'm like, Jesse, just leave. Just go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? If it's that bad here, you got running water, you get a check, you get a welfare check, you get a stimulus check, you get to work here, you get to buy what you want to, date who you want to date. If it's that bad, then why are you still here?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's all I gotta
very
say.
true.
I mean, I just want to get that in. I appreciate you letting me get that in.
Thank you,
and
Keith.
I know the fools ain't gonna never. Fools don't want wisdom. They want to stay in. They want to stay in darkness. So I'm not talking to you all. I'm talking to people with some sense. That's who I'm trying to talk to, not Tony and that what's his name, Mays. And I ain't trying to talk to them kind of people.
Right.
And what's Earl? And
poor Earl.
A hateful, evil. He ain't nothing but a little evil woman, just like Jesse said.
Yeah.
And then he gonna say Jesse mom. He gonna say your mama. If that ain't a black female, your mama. Come on, man.
Terrible.
And Earl don't get nothing about your old lie. No, that's all fake, man. He hates all of y'all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him to go to hell, little fat, little can't breathe, little ugly, little mean, little spirited, little beast.
You talking about Earl right now?
Yeah, I was telling him I'm calling because every time he would call, that's what he would get from me, and I'd hang up on him. So anyway. But anyway, thanks a lot, Jake. Y'all be cool, man. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Keith. You as well. Take care.
All right, buddy.
All right. It's true. Before I get to Art is coming up next, Art in Ohio. I have some first-time callers also on the line. I want to talk about the sergeant in South Carolina. Actually, Sean in South Carolina wants to talk about that. And Ben in Maryland has a great call lined up. Who's a bigger threat, Con Inc. or Libs? That's a really good question. Evil, got to fight evil everywhere, right? But quickly, I want to play this before I get to Art because I think Art may have something wise to say about it. Or if he doesn't, that's fine too. I have a couple of clips here from the ridiculous woman. Well, actually, let me go through before I show the ridiculous woman. These headlines, Chicago 13-year-old, inside of that folder, the Chicago 13-year-old, just kind of show this is like a slideshow. Chris for me, White Chris. Sam Charles is a local reporter, and he shared a headline about this less than a week after the Cook County prosecutor said 13-year-old blah, 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 blah had a gun in his hand. And you see a picture on this tweet that we're sharing with you now of the gun that was allegedly tossed on the ground next to the fence behind which he was allegedly hiding the gun, the 13-year-old blah, 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 blah. A female spokesman for the whatever that is, says that the prosecutor failed to fully inform himself before speaking in court because he said he had a gun in his hand when he was shot. Well, he may have tossed it just before he was shot. But the cop, had to react, did not know whether the gun was in his hand or not. Who knows? Or I don't know whether the cop knew or not. Doesn't really matter. Here's a picture shared by this same Sam Charles guy, a local news producer, I believe. Videos show blah, 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 age 13, looking like a young thug. May have tossed the gun, appears to toss the gun before turning, hands up moments before the shooting, or not even moments, at the moment of the shooting. Who knows? And then the people are so ridiculous about it. He's from local WGN TV. Look at that. And I believe that light was blinking kind of like a strobe. So this is dark of night. You know, there's some street lights around, but this boy, he got caught by the cop. Look at how he's sagging. The crotch of his pants is down just above his knees. No wonder he couldn't outrun the cop. Right on Mr. Stillman, Officer Stillman. And by the way, the cop shot him, and within seconds, he's rendering aid and calling for help. Which is more than a cop should be called to do, honestly. But he tried to help. Ridiculous. Also, AJ Plus, which is Al Jazeera, evil outlet, shows a little picture of this boy looking like a little 10-year-old or 7-year-old with almost like a bowl cut. Stop killing us. And it shows a little baby picture of the boy, like what they did with Trayvon Martin. Hashtag defund police. Yeah, that's really going to help the community. You just heard, I believe her name was Crystal, from this very neighborhood, said that shootings are heard regularly. And usually it's not cops shooting, it's criminals shooting at strangers and strange vehicles. I guess they're trying to head off any drive-by, but any vehicles with tinted windows that they don't recognize, or any blacks, very antagonistic towards blacks because this is a Latino community. Somebody said, James, you shouldn't be generalizing. Yeah. Here's a picture of the next one from the New York Slimes, the failing New York Slimes. Shows Mayor Lori Lightfoot issued an appeal for calm on Thursday. And it shows a photograph from a journalist, right, of females, just like what Crystal, my first caller of the day, I believe, said. Females marching with this banner. Who paid for this banner? George Soros? That Democrat Bloomberg? Mike Bloomberg? The ADL? Who paid for this? CPD, meaning Chicago Police Department. Stop killing our children. 48-hour cover-up. Because I think for days, they didn't even identify this young man playing man. And CPD, deja de matar a nuestros hijos. 48 horas cubrimiento. Justice para Adán. Rest in peace. Blah, 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 blah. You know, they didn't even know this boy's name because the 21-year-old Ramon, whatever his name was, didn't give his real name, didn't give his own real name. And the boy's fingerprints, the young man's, thug man fingerprints, didn't match anything in the records. And that's quite useful, you would imagine, to these gangs. Oh, let's get a 13-year-old. He doesn't have fingerprints on the record. So he can commit a little bunch of crimes for us and shoot guns and stuff. Oh, he's a minor. They'll go easy on him. He's a minor. Well, you got him killed. He got himself killed, really. The mother, too. And they're protesting, and they're playing like, oh, the mothers are such victims. We're bereaved of our children by the police, racist police. And they have like in this picture, I see like a black nationalist flag, kind of like Joel's t-shirt. Thank God we got rid of him. I'm playing. But yeah, they have like just ridiculous photos. They have a picture that looks like the mother. The mother looks barely older than Zach. The purported mother. This is from Twitter Moments. They share a U.S. national news report that shows a selfie of the mother with little Adan. Blah, 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 blah. Immature. So, show this last one. It has just writing. There are female reporters reporting on what Lori Lightfoot was saying, the lesbian mayor. Before I get to art. Fran Spellman, who's a blue check mark on Twitter, is quoting the female black lesbian mayor of Chicago, saying there's a lot of trauma that our young people have been living with for a long time, and it's been exacerbated by the isolation of the pandemic, Lightfoot says. Isolation of the pandemic. No, it's the isolation of the shutdowns. Just a side note, it's not the pandemic, it's the communist shutdowns. Because the pandemic is no threat to children, by the way, nor parents for the most part. That's a breeding ground for sinister forces that offer them a future of violence. She means the gangs. Spielman is a City Hall reporter for Chicago Sun-Times. Fran Spielman goes on, quoting Lori Lightfoot, "Clearly more needs to be done and with a lot more speed for young people," Lightfoot says. Give me a break. This reminds me of Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton said, it takes a village to raise a child. No, it takes good parents, which these boys don't have. Kelly Bauer Journalism, says, "I think we need to do more listening to community members," says Lightfoot, quoting Lightfoot, "from Little Village and other neighborhoods from across the city. But our young people have been living with a lot of trauma for a long time." And Lightfoot actually said, listen to this, "Family did everything they could, and this still happened." Excuse me? Family did everything they could? How'd this boy get out at 3 a.m.? I don't think they did everything they could. Maybe they did everything they could. They just didn't have any sense to raise a boy right. City needs to think strategically about what resources it needs to provide the on-the-ground organizations. This won't be a one-size-fits-all fix. They're thinking programs rather than actual families. Bring back shame. Bring back fathers. So here's a clip of Lori Lightfoot. I think this is clip, let's see. Clip 15A. Here's her solution, or her diagnosis of the problem. Too many, and she's gonna cuss, guns. Clip 15A. Here's Lori Lightfoot, courtesy of USA Today on Twitter, saying, "We failed Adam." No, the parents did. Listen to Lori Lightfoot.
And simply put, we failed Adam. And we cannot afford to fail one more young person in our city. We must do everything we can also to eliminate the scourge of firearms from our city. Every year, the Chicago Police Department recovers more guns than New York and LA combined. Not because we have a better strategy, not because we pay more attention, but because we have too many damn guns on our streets.
Whoa, cool it, lady. What a nutcase. That's not what's causing these people to be out at 3 a.m. and shoot at blacks and strange vehicles. Give me a break. And run from cops? That's a crackhead, says David Singleton. I don't think so. Why is she so creepy? Because she's an evil person. Here's a little more. She's talking about the video, which I'm not going to show the video of the actual shooting. Here is part B, the lesbian mayor Lightfoot. She calls herself a mom in this clip. It's so weird. With her goofy, and watch her goofy sign language guy if you're watching the video. It's so silly. I thank God Trump never used a sign language people. Okay.
It was excruciating. There are several videos that
Talks
kind
like
of start at the beginning of the episode, but watching the body cam footage, which shows young Adam
blah blah
after he's shot, is extremely difficult. And I would just say, and I've said this too, a number of people on my staff, our cabinet, as a mom, this is not something you want children to see.
Did she say as a mom? She's a lesbian. Vivian Lightfoot, Lori Lightfoot's adoptive daughter. Bought her. Probably bought her. I don't know. Yeah, adoptive. By the way, she's seen no evidence that the 13-year-old shot at the cop. So what? The cops are supposed to wait till you get shot at? No thanks. No thanks. Anyway, let's get to Art in Ohio. He's been on hold forever. Wants to talk about this Chicago shooting. And blah, 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 blah. What's up, Art? How you doing?
What's up with my main man, Hake, dog?
I'm doing fine. Good to hear from you.
So check. Always good to hear from you. And I just want to go ahead and start it off by saying it's just two beta boys in the Cadillac. EO. I said it's just two beta boys in the Cadillac. EO.
You recognize this?
Oh, that's that old school Outcast right there.
Okay. Oh, all right. All right.
Okay.
Sweet.
Okay. So check this out. So what did she say? Did she say she got kids now, Lori Lightfoot?
She has one adoptive daughter, Vivian Lightfoot.
Did she say that in the clip?
She said, as a mom, this is not something you want kids to watch. This rough video of a 13-year-old getting himself shot by the cops. Which, whatever. I agree with that.
That's just like they use this term stepdad,
right?
And with adopted mom like her, that's where a lot of this confusion and stuff is coming up from the broken homes.
Yeah.
So she tripping. I can't expect her to have any type of common sense, any type of moral integrity, or anything or whatnot. And that's just show you how degenerate Chicago is, anyways.
It's a man's job. It's a man's job being mayor of Chicago, and she's not up for it.
It's a man's job. She's not at all. And she can keep trying to pander all she wants to with her little beta legs. And, these little liberal females, they can act like they don't like Art and Hake all they want to, but they not listening to you, Lori Lightfoot. They want to hear from Art. They want to hear from Hake.
Right.
They don't want to hear that little lying stuff that you passing on. You know what I mean? They I'm the dad that they never had because they know I'm gonna keep it real with them, not real fake. You know what I mean? So you can save all that dyke on the bike. You headed for your third strike nonsense that you talking because we ain't messing with you. I mean, them liberals is, but over here we ain't messing with you. And then my third thing is this once again shows you how they don't hold no females accountable because you went straight for the cop's throat for that 13-year-old who the cop killed, but you didn't question why is a 13-year-old out of the house at 3 o'clock in the morning? Yeah. Why ain't you? If a kid don't go to school, they'll come try to find the parents to lock them up because the kids is truancy, not showing up to school. So you mean to tell me that a kid can be outside at 3 o'clock in the morning at 13 years old, and that ain't neglect?
Yeah, that is ridiculous. She should be arrested. She should be arrested. That's true.
Be arrested. Yes, she should. She should be arrested.
Although that boy at 13, he's so out of control. She cannot control him. She has zero authority.
Can't control him. Yeah. She can't control it, and all this is once again the ghetto lottery or whatnot. Now she's gonna be on here campaigning on GoFundMe, getting free money for raising a bad kid, promoting evil people or whatnot. Yeah. And this is all part of the courts, the government negotiating with terrorists in America, single black females and single females alone, because all of this rioting and this Black Lives Matter and this Antifa nonsense, all of this is coming from all them kids is out there mostly doing it. They came from broken homes, and if they did have a dad in the house, the dad was a beta. He let the mom run them and didn't stand up and say anything because he was too scared that he'd end up like Art, having to fight through the court system to get their kid back. Because if you stand up and go against anything that the liberal female say, you can do 100 things for the liberal female. She your best friend, but you say no to one thing, and you are enemy, and she's willing to get herself killed just to try to get you killed. Just like that. Just like the dude was saying, I think it was not Earl. What was his name?
Keith from Illinois. Keith
was just saying that these liberals are so crazy. They willing to get themselves killed just to try to inflict harm on allegedly the white man.
Right. Very true.
You said and then what gets me about the sergeant down there in South Carolina, I heard that he came out because he heard a female screaming, and he came out to the scene and basically interacted with the black dude, which or whatnot. If he don't stay out there, or if he do, my thing is this: if you was gonna go ahead and push him, and you know you standing up for your neighborhood, don't be running when the Black Lives Matter show up to your house. That's what the Second Amendment is for.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got a gun. You know what I mean? They come up on your property. That's what I thought that you could do, is defend your property if you thought that your life is in danger.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm a felon. Art is a felon up here in Ohio, so I can't have no gun. But I guarantee you anybody get the protesting around here where Artie is, some Black Lives Matter, they already know what's up with me. They going to get what they looking for. I'm going to make a couple phone calls, and we're going to see how that turn out for them. You know what I mean? This is so crazy. Y'all pass these constitutional rights or whatnot for Americans to be carrying guns, and this is a man who served in the Army, and you got a whole bunch of people on his property, and he got to leave his property.
Ridiculous.
That don't make
so evil.
That don't make no sense, man. That is evil, man. You take and that's a stripping away of his rights right there.
Yep.
He shouldn't have to leave his house. You know what I mean? And that's what I don't get about him. You know, if you're gonna push the dude, because you clearly can see that he had an advantage over the black dude. He could probably beat him up. You know what I mean? When I know in the back of my mind, size really don't matter. It depends on how your hands work.
Right.
Do you know how to use your hands good? You know, do you actually got hands for sale? Meaning, can you beat that face up real good? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Put the punch where it need to go. So I'm just trying to figure out if you was gonna go ahead and push him, and you was so beta or omega about that situation, because there wasn't no alpha move. Ain't nobody about to run me out of Ohio, my house, anywhere. If I got to defend myself and die as a man for what I stand for was right before I let somebody run me anywhere. I can run and I can dance, but I ain't gonna let nobody ever force me to do neither one of them.
Right on. I appreciate it. I don't know the story with that sergeant. That I wish him well, and it sounds like a mess and just drama. It's evil what they're trying to do to him, though. One more thing. Let me go ahead and get the uhs out the way. And Tony. What he say? He said that the Mexicans own basically all of California. No, they did not. Once again, let's go back and retrace the history. The Indian dude who called, not yesterday, today, or it might have been yesterday, he was one of the Indians. His tribe of Indians is the ones who kept the Mexicans from actually coming over in the American territory. The Indians that was down there where that Indian called from yesterday, them is the Indians that kept the Mexicans from coming into American territory at that time. And yeah, Mexicans did have parts of like maybe San Diego and little parts of like New Mexico and little parts of it. For less than 50 years, I think.
Yeah, little parts of it, not the whole state.
Right.
It was like little corner pieces and stuff like that. But since Tony don't know no history or whatnot, when the Union and the armies was running the Indians off to the reservations, they were killing off the bison and the buffaloes, so the food was hard to come by. So, that's more than likely why the Indians was keeping the Mexicans and keeping them at bay in Mexico and keeping fighting the Union and stuff, all keep fighting them and running, because they were basically, the Union starved them out by killing off their food.
Nice.
So they wouldn't have had to keep fighting them. They would have kept starving them out, killing off the bison, and the Indian would have died off because they ain't have no food. And then another thing that Tony said, another thing Tony said with his smart self or whatnot, you know, he a liberal beta smart. The liberals got y'all so confused that he think that white people are about to be slaves and they about to have to suffer in slavery like the black people, and Tony seems to think the black people are about to be in control. Well, last time I checked, I don't know excuse me to my Negroes and my black people on this chatting and just listening. I don't know any niggas that own any damn bombs around here in America. You see what I'm saying? So Tony need to come back to earth. You know what I mean? And maybe put that fentanyl down or whatever you on. Because if you ain't got no damn bombs or no missiles that's coming, nuclear missiles, Tony, I mean, it's all bad for you, my boy. Now,
Yeah.
God bless you, Hake, and
Thank
God
you, Art.
bless Jesse, and
Right
God
on.
bless the cast up there, and we love Trump. All right,
Nice.
I'm out here.
Appreciate
Yes,
you,
sir.
Art. Take care. Chris says thank you. 100% of California was part of the Spanish Empire, then part of Mexico before the USA took it in surrender terms from the U.S.-Mexican War. Whoa, 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 N-word alert. That would not be allowed on on frank.com. No, frankspeech.com. When I was a kid, says Asmodor, before the nighttime news came on, the announcer's voice came on and said, "It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?" Good question. Man, it's like horrific that we're allowing the LGBT people to be adopting and all that stuff and pretending that they're married. It's a disservice to them, to the children, and to civilization. It's a downward slide. Terrible. Jib Jab says, bonus deers, dab emoji, deer emoji. Plus, or please, you about to get yourself fired again, Hake? Playing that devil music. Thank you, Jib Jab, for the streamlabs.com/the Hake Report super chat. And he also says, with another super chat, one more thing. Does Chris ever have plans to cut his little mustache? I don't know. Nope, no plans. He's not a planner. He lives as the Lord leads. Nice. Always right. Bingo. So, let me get to Ben in Maryland. He has this great question. Who's a bigger threat, Con Inc. or Libs? I think that's his question. What's up, Ben? How are you doing?
Hey, howdy, Hake. How you doing, man?
Doing fine.
Yeah, so my question was basically in relation to us conservative Christians, right?
Yeah.
And I know how we discern against the liberals and the leftists, basically.
Right.
But I've just been wondering, right, would it be the wiser decision to start being more in focus on discerning conservative ink, you know?
For sure. You got to call out evil wherever it is, you know, in the right way at the right time. And evil has taken over the Republican Party and many people who call themselves so-called conservatives. We have to exhort one another to perfection. And so, yes, we do need to do that because the so-called conservatives today are worse than the Democrats of 60 years ago, probably. Who knows? Because they kiss up to the racism thing. They kiss up to the LGBTIQ madness, which is total destruction. They hate truth. They shut out truth. They smear people, smear decent people. That's so true. They're not really different from the liberals. And thank God for President Trump for helping kind of expose that, even though those people are pretending to back him and he's kind of working with them. But he at the same time, he did sort of expose them because they were not for him, and he just kind of brought things to light. And these people, I'll never forget those Groypers a year and a half ago, whenever it was.
Yeah, the Charlie Kirk culture war.
Yeah,
right?
confronting Charlie Kirk and Rob Smith.
Rob Smith. Yeah.
About their immigration stuff and the LGBTQ stuff. Yeah, all that stuff. Israel too, a little bit. They just exposed themselves as not really genuine people, and they were saying stuff like staple a green card on the back of their diploma because those people are going to be our best workers. We don't want to ship our best workers that we've educated and trained. And that's the same thing that Nancy Pelosi said before, Joe Biden, Mitt Romney, and that's a horrible idea. So these people are not to be trusted, and to be, work with them now and then when they're right, but keep a sharp eye on them because they are evil. Just like you have to work with libs sometimes. But you call them out. Call evil what it is. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, that just connected back to, like, I don't remember what verse exactly, but I remember Jesus Christ stated that a house cannot stand against itself, right? So I just see the whole conservative movement kind of, like, standing between America First and Conservative Inc.
When he said that, he was talking about Satan's world because the people were accusing him of driving out demons in Satan's name. And he's all, how can Satan drive out Satan? A house divided against itself cannot stand. But you're right. They're endlessly in, like, the letters to the churches in the New Testament. They're talking constantly about infighting and stuff. Because there's some necessary fighting, but there's some unnecessary ego fighting, ego battles, and nitpicking about different rules and things like that. Like meat sacrificed to idols it was back then. But you're right. We need to be united on what's right and not go along with evil, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly on that. I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Ben. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, man. You have a good one, man.
All right. Take care. Before I get to donning armor, he has a response on these shootings. Quickly. I'll try to play this quickly. I have one last... It's actually a silent clip. It's me scrolling down this... it's clip 13. I'm scrolling down this Twitter thread that was... It's actually from the Thread Reader app, which is a website that unrolls Twitter threads. A Twitter thread is when there's a tweet and then a reply to the tweet and then a reply and on and on and on from the same Twitter user, right? Twitter being a social media platform for some. It's actually a far-left publisher, but sometimes you can write on it, right? Enemies of America, Twitter is. Yeah, it's that 6-minute clip. I'll probably cut it off before 6 minutes, though. Birth control. Before we play this, my friend, my coworker from my previous job, Mexican guy, he had his green card. He had a driver's license. He was like one of the legals that I'm pretty sure was legal. He said that his sister got off birth control at one point, and it took her like 3 years before she could have a baby. Wow. And I think about birth control because it's all pushed majorly. Obama wants it. Obamacare brought birth control. And the Congressman Steve King of Iowa, former congressman, it's poison, says Chris. Yeah. Congressman Steve King of Iowa is like, we're a declining population. We need more babies. That's not health care. And he's right, especially for whites and so-called educated people don't do that, right? I may or may not even be a birth control baby. I've wondered about this, right? I'm like, I was the 4th child. And I turned out all messed up. My friend, so bad in high school. My friend was like, they just don't make Hakes like they used to. I'm halfway joking about it, but I just wonder what it does to the kids once they are born. Once you get off of that so-called birth control. And the Catholics, right on to them. Catholics, they think it's a sin to even take birth control. And, you know, they may be right. I don't know. It's like horrific what's going on with the whites being, 8% or 15%, or I think it's 8% of the world population and declining. We didn't used to be that small and declining population. And it's happening in Japan, too. Japan's not a shrinking population, by the way. Anyway, here's this clip, and I got this from Revolver News, revolver.news. You can actually start it. The headline is, What Doctors Don't Tell You About the Pill. It's by this woman, some woman, Juliana Lung, Asian woman. We're told by society it's normal to ingest synthetic hormones, also known as poison. In fact, we're taught from an early age that it's great, perfectly healthy, the right thing to do. Some may take the pill to prevent pregnancy, although it's only 91% effective. Others are, I'm reading this Twitter thread, others prescribed it by doctors to help regulate their TOM. Don't tell me what that is. I don't even want to know. It's even normalized for athletes to be on birth control, BC, in order to get rid of their period entirely, making them more competitive in their sport. Many initially report feeling better due to la. Birth control works by completely shutting off a critical phase necessary for optimal hormonal health. I'm skipping some of the gross part. Gross to me. When you shut down la, your body doesn't make progesterone. Progesterone plus estrogen are opposing hormones. Without adequate progesterone, your body has nothing left to oppose estrogen. Progesterone also helps reduce inflammation. Protects against stress hormones. Down regulates us to a calmer state for quality sleep. Causes inflammation, including all of these, which are disgusting. One is gross. IBS, don't tell me what that is. Chronic bloat, kind of gross. Constipation, acne, rosacea, psoriasis. Hypothyroidism, slowed metabolism, weight gain, nausea, PMS, brain fog, poor sleep, loss of something drive, depression, anxiety, and nutrient depletion. Magnesium, vitamin A, C, E, B, vitamins, selenium, zinc, necessary for optimum health. Balanced hormones, blood sugar regulation, immunity, thyroid function. Chronic depletion results in nutrient deficiency, one of the most overlooked factors of poor health and mental disorders. It affects your liver. Well, guys aren't doing this, right? But this is interesting. And we kind of know this, but this woman's looked into it. Liver. The pill overworks the liver, congesting it with synthetic hormones, constantly need to be filtered and detoxed through it. Chronic stress of BC, birth control, on the liver results in an impaired thyroid function. The thyroid. The pill depletes you of zinc, selenium, B vitamins, and all that stuff. Leads to a leaky blah blah, poor detoxification, weight gain, hair loss, etc. Nasty. Ugh. Mental health. Digestion issue. Oh, this is from the thyroid stuff. Digestion issues, constipation, poor detoxification. Hair loss. Horrific. And did you know it also affects mental health? No wonder the women are so insane nowadays. Teens taking the combo pill were 80% more likely to develop so-called depression. Women taking the combo pill were 23% more likely to be prescribed antidepressants. Strong correlation between the pill plus mental health issues. And then she talks about getting off the pill. But it depletes you of vitamin B6, interfering with how the body metabolizes something which is necessary for serotonin production. Serotonin makes you feel better. Makes you a little bit more clear-minded, I guess. And then she goes into extensive detail on getting off the pill. She starts, and I have a link to that part of the thread for the ladies if you're on it. Crap. You can mitigate stress through what they call meditation, grounding. Grounding, I think, is when you're barefoot on the actual ground. Daily sun, etc. Consume saturated fat-rich foods like raw butter, coconut oil, tallow, ghee. Follow an ancestral omnivorous diet of quality whole foods. Magnesium, minerals, roasted dandelion root tree, raw carrots to bind up the excess estrogen. Maybe guys should do this if they've been eating soy. 0 caffeine a week before your whatever. Your monthly thing. Anyway, crazy stuff. And so she's kind of, seems like a little bit of a new agey type of a woman, but she has good information on that stuff. Ridiculous what the women are putting themselves through, thinking, oh, this is health. This is women's health. Shameful. And remember, Jesse Lee Peterson covered that story from 2012, I think it was. A couple weeks back, we re-released it, the Sunday service, about this woman wanting birth control paid for, subsidized by the government. Sandra Fluke, called a slut by the late, great Rush Limbaugh. And then he had to apologize. Didn't have to, but he did. Let me get to Donning Armour in California. Donning Armour, thank you for calling. What's up?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, good to hear from you.
It's always a pleasure. What did you call it? A leaky what?
Leaky gut. I called it Lala or blah blah, but leaky gut.
Blah blah. A leaky blah blah. Oh my goodness. You are way too Christian.
Way too what? Too Christian. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Christian or that's. I think that's my mother coming out of me.
Yeah, there's something coming out of you. Wait, no, that sounds gross.
Yeah.
Just don't talk about female anatomy.
I know.
You make it sound way worse than it is.
Even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I was going to tell you about all these stories, and now there's a new one. There's a new one every day about people of a certain melanin content that get killed by the cops.
Yeah.
Well, we know for a fact that more white people are killed by the police.
Right.
And more white people are killed. Who is it that you follow? It's gentleman Flaherty?
Yeah, Colin Flaherty. Flaherty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This guy's basically made it a career out of just documenting black on white violence.
Right.
And I love what you guys are doing. Not when it comes to female anatomy, but when it comes to the blacks that are killed, you call them blah blahs now, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. Rather than saying their name.
Genius.
Yeah.
And I will one up you. I'll say rather than call them just blah blahs, maybe make a story about a white person that's been killed.
Yeah.
Like Cannon Hinman, Rowan Sweeney, Christian Bowman, Emily Jones. You know, these are actual children, not 6 foot tall 13-year-olds.
Yeah, and Cannon Hinnant, or however you say his name, he was killed not by a cop, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was like a 4-year-old shot in the head by a neighbor, a black neighbor who was out of control.
Yeah, I believe it was 5, if memory recalls. Yeah, Rowan Sweeney was a 4-year-old that was also killed by a black neighbor. I don't know if I want to call him neighbor, but yeah. So just replace them. Use their views against them, because it's obvious that they're waging a race war.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and you could see, like, now they're not even showing the video. They just show a still picture, a still shot of him with his hands up.
Right, he's like this. But if you see the video, it probably adds more clarity to what actually happened, huh?
So, and I understand you got a podcast and you're doing your thing, but maybe just alongside it, just show a picture of Rowan Sweeney. Just say, hey, well, he had his brains blown out by a black man. Just saying,
Horrific.
And people can, well, it's terrible, but
yeah,
they're using this as a weapon against us, and they're trying to divide us on racial lines. So play their game, steal their views. Oh, there was a police shooting today. Everybody thinks about the black guy. Well, maybe you can post a video of the white guy that was shot that weekend, because it happens every weekend. There's more white people that are killed by police officers every weekend.
And by blacks.
And by blacks, yes. So, but, it was something that I was going to throw out there and see what you thought about it.
I appreciate it. It's not a bad idea. Got to bring some balance to and clarity about what's really going on, what reality is, because they're distorting it by endlessly covering these cases, which honestly, they're not even really questionable cases. The cops were basically justified in most of these.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they would have, the only difference is if it was a white 13-year-old, they would have shot faster.
Right. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
true. Truly, that is the case.
Yeah, I know. I've seen studies that that black and Hispanic cops are more likely to errantly shoot an unarmed black than white cops.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because if you shoot a white kid or a white person, it wasn't a kid. He was 6 foot, 13 years old. That's not a kid.
Yeah, it was a tall boy.
If you shoot a white person, you don't have to worry about a George Floyd trial. You don't have to worry about riots. But
True.
if you shoot one of the others, then, you might be labeled as a racist, a Nazi, an evil police person, whatever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We need to start pushing back, because they're using this as a weapon against us. a cudgel to beat us over the heads. And I think it's time that we start highlighting when our folk get killed.
Yeah.
And, there's actually, his name escapes me because they don't scream it from the rooftops like they do George Floyd. But there was a white teenager that was gunned down in a hallway, and the whole thing is on body camera. And this is as close as I've seen to murder from a police officer. He shoots him and kills him.
Okay.
Nobody knows his name.
We'll look into it.
Okay, yeah, no. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you, Donnie
I'll
Armour.
try to find it, and I'll get it to you.
Yeah, send it over. Appreciate that,
All
man.
right.
Good to hear from you.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
Always a pleasure. You as well.
All right. This has been the Hake Report, guys. Brandon M. with the Trovo Colorful Chat says, to be clear, referring to this person who California was named after, I guess. She was Moorish, not sub-Saharan black. Two different things, so Tony, don't try to justify anything. Interesting. The music on this show is awful, says Bobby Drake. Well, not this music. This music is awesome. We got to end, guys. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. TheFallenState.tv in less than an hour. We're overtime. The Fallen State premieres today, noon today, Pacific. And then JLP Plays at 2 Pacific. JLP Plays, I believe. That's cool. And then Church with Jesse Lee Peterson on Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Thanks, guys. Take care.